Hi, welcome to Wednesday. We will be doing today, or I'll be talking about different cases, two of them today that I've done. The first two were a little extraordinary because they're not usually what goes on. What I'm going to talk about today happens more often than not. Ted and I like to go to amusement parks about once a summer. Not so much to ride the rides, the old folks' rides now, but just to watch. I'm a people person. I like to see what's going on. I like to see who's messing with what, live and dead. And so we usually take a lunch and we get there early so we can park close. And we're walking around and we went to the pavilion, got the cooler out of the car, and we're sitting there having lunch. The problem was all the tables were taken, so we had to sit at the end of a table where there were two couples sitting, older couples, like us, and you couldn't help but hear their conversation. And there was definitely a ghost with the one couple. And again, you know, unless I would have winked at her, I doubt very seriously if she would have even known that I was watching her. So they were eating, and the man said, "Boy, oh boy," he says, "I just really miss my wife's sandwiches that we used to have when we would come out here and do this." And his wife just got a little red in the face. And she said, "Well, I am sorry. If you don't like my sandwiches, don't eat them. I don't care." He said, "No, it's not that." And she says, "Listen, every time we come and do this and you have to eat one of my chicken sandwiches, all you do is complain that they weren't like Eileen's or whatever her name was. And I didn't even know her, so how could I know what the sandwiches were?" And this Eileen, who was the name of the ghost, was just standing there laughing about this. And I'm just sort of listening to this, and I'm not, you know, so they're all done eating, and we had just, we're taking our time. They start playing cards, and they were playing, I don't know, rummy or something. And all of a sudden, this this guy's wife, she just got a bug. It was like, and I could see the ghost sort of like right standing behind her, just sort of not poking at her, but just standing there real calm with her hand on her shoulder. And it's like, oh, that ghost is just looking for trouble. And sure enough, his wife started up again. This just aggravates me. I can't believe that every time we go out, we have to have the same discussion. And I just don't understand what is so important about those sandwiches. A sandwich is a sandwich. He said they were some kind of meatloaf sandwich. She says, "What's the big deal with meatloaf?" Well, now I'm listening to this, and I look at this Eileen, and I winked at her, and she looked at me, and I said, "Come here." And she walks over to me. She says, "You can see me." I said, "I can." I says, "What's going on over there?" She says, "Oh, I just love it when I can get those two going." And I said, "What's he talking about?" She said, "I made meatloaf. That was terrific." She says, "It was actually better than anybody's meatloaf ever." She says, "And I didn't make it with ground meat. And it tasted better cold, and they made the best sandwiches, and that's what he's talking about." I said, "If you didn't make a meatloaf with ground meat, what did you use?" And she said, "Pork and ham." I said, "Huh." I said, "Give me the recipe." So she gave it to me, and I wrote it down. And so we were getting ready, we are putting stuff away, and we had smiled at each other and said hi and what have you to the, we talked a little bit. So I called his wife over and I said to her, you know, my aunt used to make a meatloaf recipe that was excellent. I said it was different, but it really did. We never ate it hot. We always ate it cold. She says, oh, that's ridiculous. Who eats a meatloaf cold? I says, well, meatloaf sandwiches. And she says, well, yeah. And she says, no. She says, he just likes to just get me riled up. I said, okay. So we got done eating, packed everything up, moved it back Ted took it back to the car. And we're standing there. Ted and I are talking, deciding it was getting hot. Did we want to keep on going around or maybe go sit in a bar and watch a show or something? And all of a sudden, his wife comes up to me. He had gone to the washroom. And she said, you know what? She said, I'm thinking maybe I better take that recipe. It just so he stops crabbing about it all the time. I said, good idea. So I said, I think this is what it is, and I gave her the recipe. And she says, it's made with ham? And I said, yep. I said, I know, it's a little bit pork and smoked ham. She said, okay. She says, I'm going to try it. She says, thanks a lot. And I said, not any problem. Well, his wife was just grinning from ear to ear. And she says to me, oh, I can't wait to hear what my husband has to say when he finally tastes this. He's going to want to know how the heck she found it, why it took her so long to make it, why she didn't make it sooner. And I started laughing. I said, oh, there's going to be more grief after she's got the recipe than when she didn't have the recipe. And she just started to laugh, and she thought it was pretty funny. And the second one was from a lady that she called me up one day, and she says to me, hi, she said, my family will wake up in the middle of the night and we can smell bakery being made, mostly yeast. You know how bread smells when it's being baked? That's what it smelled like. And we don't understand. She says it's gotten to the point because a lot of times my husband snores, so I sleep in the other bedroom. And he'll get up in the morning and go downstairs, and he'll be angry with me because he thought I was making breakfast rolls or something, and there's nothing there. And then my daughter comes down and says, Mom, where's the stuff you were baking last night? She smells it. And I just don't understand how the house can smell like somebody's baking something when we're all sound asleep. And I had to think about it. Tara, our youngest daughter, she would be asleep at night and she would smell grape jelly or jam being made. And she'd come downstairs and look in the kitchen, and of course nobody was doing anything. And she just didn't understand what that was because it smelled like her grandmother's kitchen because her grandmother liked to make grape and jam and jelly. And she says, Mom, she says, I wish that you would make that. I really haven't. I says, yeah, well. Strawberry, yeah, I've never made grape jelly or jam. So anyway, back to the story. So when she called me up and I said, well, there is a lady in the house. I said, and I explained what she looked like. And she said, boy, she says, that could be my Aunt Mary. And this ghost is standing behind her, and the ghost is going, yeah. I said, I think you're right. She said, you know what? Now that I think about it, she says, my Aunt Mary baked on Saturdays, and there was enough bakery for the whole week. Well, for those of you that remember back in the day, that's when the housewife baked for the whole week. I mean, at least that was my grandparents. That's when grandmothers did it. And like Monday was washing clothes, and Tuesday was ironing, and Wednesday was grocery shopping. So each day of the week was for something. And so she said, yeah, she says, maybe. So she invited me out to the house. So I go out there, and her daughter's there and her husband's there. And I said, no, it's your Aunt Mary. And the daughter and the husband both said at the same time, oh my gosh, those are her refrigerator biscuits that she would make, and they were fresh for the whole week. We never understood how we could have bakery that she made on Saturday and still taste so good by Friday. We never understood that. So I asked Mary, I says, what was the secret here? What did you do? She said, well, it's pretty easy. She says, they're mashed potatoes. And you need to make mashed potatoes, and then you mix it with all the other ingredients. And she says, you put it in a roll, keep it in the refrigerator. And when it's time for supper that day, she says, you take out, slice how much you need, slice them into the shape that you're making your rolls, and there you go. So you've got them all week. They're made on Saturday, but they're cooked fresh every day. And so the gal said, so that's how she did it. I said, yeah. I says, according to her, that's exactly how she did it. And she said, well, will she give me the recipe? I says, yes, she will. And she got the recipe. I took the recipe too because I thought it was a pretty interesting recipe. And they are delicious, absolutely delicious. So these are like two sort of normal houses that this stuff happens in. And again, you know, if it's just you sensing things, but when the family starts talking about it and they can hear it or smell it or see it, and a lot of times, like if I walk in the house, my father's birthday's coming up. I know I'm going to smell half and half pipe tobacco because that's what my dad smoked. So I know that will be a day he's visiting. And if I walk in the house and my grandmother's birthday was just a couple of days ago, smelled like garlic in here and I hadn't cooked with garlic. Grandma was visiting me. So there are certain scents that remind you of somebody. And if you smell them on a easy for me to say, specific day, look at the calendar. Is it somebody's birthday that you know that died? Is it a day they died? Is it their anniversary? Is it your birthday? Is it a holiday? People that cross over definitely do visit on any of those occasions. Okay, we are still in the Mercury retrograde. That goes, thank God, direct on the 20th of February. The Zoom for February 12th is full, but we did open Monday, the 22nd at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to get on, check that out. And for those of you that are definitely interested in the two, the ham loaf and the potato rolls, they are actually recipes in Beyond Delicious, my cookbook. And the stories are short in here. I didn't put every detail in because I only wanted it to be a page or two, but the recipes are all here, all proven recipes. They've been all checked out. Some good recipes in here. So take a look at this and go to the library and get it out. Don't buy it. You don't have to do that. And just copy out the recipes that you like. So next week, I think I am still going to do one more of cases that I've done. And the following week, the letters are coming in, so the following week I will be doing questions. But next week we will be doing regular, regular cases again. Okay, have a great week and stay warm, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.